You wake up every day to your alarm, go to work, dedicate 8, 10, and sometimes even 12 hours of your life to it. And in return, you receive a stable, predictable salary you count on every month. And it seems that if you just keep going, work harder, get a promotion, save at least a little, sooner or later, prosperity will come, or at least money will stop being a headache. Let's put this to the test with some numbers. You're 22 and you've just started your first job. The average income worldwide is somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 per month. Let's go with a conservative estimate of $2,000. You plan to work until you're 65. That's 43 years or 516 salaries. Multiply that and you'll get a little over $1 million over your lifetime. Sounds impressive, right? Now subtract rent, groceries, transportation, clothing, communications, subscriptions, doctors, vacations. You're not a machine. You need to catch your breath sometimes. Subtract all that, and out of $1 million, you're left with maybe 10 to 15% at best. 150,000 for 43 years of labor. And that's in an ideal scenario. No illnesses, no layoffs, no loans, no family, no children. That's the ceiling of a scenario where everything goes exactly according to plan. But nothing ever goes according to plan. And that begs the question, why? You work hard, study, get a job, advance in your career, and yet the final figure is so meager. The answer is simple. You're playing a game whose rules weren't written for you. They were invented long before you were born, and they're not taught at school, university, or work. Today, we'll break down these rules one by one, and after that, you'll look at money completely differently. Rule 1. The quietest and most ruthless thief. You're told that price increases of 2 to 3% per year are just small change, just background noise. But let's look at what this small change actually does to your money. Imagine 10 years ago, you hid $1,000 under your pillow. You didn't spend it, you didn't invest it, you just saved it. Today, that same 1,000 is still there, the same bills. But 10 years ago, you could have bought groceries for a month, filled your car 4 times, and gone to a decent restaurant. Today, you could buy groceries for 3 weeks, fill up your car twice, and go to a more basic restaurant. The amount is the same, but you're poorer. And this is with the official rate being 2 to 3%. The problem is that the official figure is the average hospital temperature. It includes yachts, which barely increase in price, and electronics, which actually become cheaper. Meanwhile, the things you buy every day, food, housing, fuel, medicine, grow in price, not by 3%, but by 5 to 7%, and sometimes even 10% per year. This is easy to verify. Compare your grocery receipts for this year with last year. Now apply this to your salary. You got a 5% raise, you're happy, your boss praised you. But prices rose by 7% over the same year, so your increase is actually minus 2%. It's bigger in numbers, but smaller in reality. You ran faster, but the finish line is even further away. And so it goes. Every year, the number in your account grows, but your purchasing power slowly dwindles so quietly that you notice it 10 years later, when you suddenly realize, I earn twice as much as I did 5 years ago, but I live about the same, if not worse. Depreciation is a hidden tax. No one voted for it, it's not written down anywhere, but you pay it every second while the money sits there on a card, in a savings account, under your pillow. It's melting away right now, as you read this. And here's the important thing. This tax only hits those who earn money, not those who own it. If you own real estate, stocks, or a stake in a business, depreciation doesn't reduce your wealth, but rather inflates it, because asset prices rise along with overall price increases. Your apartment goes up in price, your stocks go up, your business goes up, but the salary of someone who works for you goes down every year automatically, without a single decision on their part. The first rule boils down to this. Money you receive loses value. Money that works gains value, and the system is designed for you to receive, not to possess. Rule 2. The trap of growing demands. Let's say you've realized this and decided to fight back, save, put aside, and live below your means. It's a good plan, but here comes the second rule, and it hits those who struggle. It's called lifestyle inflation, and the idea is simple. No matter how much you earn, you'll spend almost everything. And it's not a matter of weak willpower, it's the way your brain works and how everything around you uses it. Here's your first job. $1,000, rented room, food at home, bus. It's tight, but you manage. Then your salary gets raised to $1,500. Where do the extra $500 go? It doesn't count. You move into a nicer apartment, eat out more often, buy things you couldn't afford before. A couple of months later, you're living paycheck to paycheck again, only now on $1,500, not $1,000. Time passes. My income is now 3,000 rubles. My apartment is more spacious. I have a car loan, and I only get one vacation a year. The feeling is the same. I'm strapped for cash, and by the end of the month, my account is almost empty, and I don't know where it all went, even though I didn't buy anything extra. And now the worst part. Someone with an income of 10,000 rubles a month feels exactly the same. Just barely enough. Not enough. No way to save. Only he has an apartment downtown, a leased car, a spouse with certain expectations, a child in a private school, and 2 vacations a year at good hotels. And he, too, doesn't understand where the money goes, because at his level, that's a normal expense. Everyone around him lives like that. Colleagues, friends, a social media feed. Here's the trick. You spend not according to a reasonable plan, but according to the level of your surroundings. The brain looks not at your bank account balance, but at the people around you and adapts. This is called social comparison, and it's not a glitch, but a built-in mechanism. Thousands of years ago, it helped you survive in a tribe. If your neighbors have a stone axe and you have a stick, you're in danger. Your brain demands, catch up, keep up. The problem is that now this mechanism works against you because today's tribe is your social media feed, your colleagues, and advertising that shows a normal standard of living that you have to reach. And every time you reach it, you raise the bar for yourself. Earned 3, you need a car. Earned 5, you need a better car. Earned 10, you need your own apartment. Earned 15, you need a bigger apartment. And so you run your whole life, not because you're greedy or stupid, but because that's how your brain works. And the system knows this perfectly well. It's built on it. The entire consumer economy rests on one principle. You should spend, not save or invest. Credit cards, installment plans, and subscriptions for just $99 a month are all tools of the same machine, which turns your salary into someone else's profit. Bottom line, you earn 1,000, you save 0. You earn 3,000, you save 0. You earn 10,000, you save 0. The number grows, but the gap between income and expenses doesn't change because expenses grow at the same rate or faster thanks to loans. Who doesn't fall into this trap? Those who don't live on a fixed salary. A business owner can set a modest salary for themselves and use the profits to grow the company. An investor can live on dividends without touching the principal. They have a buffer between what they earn and what they spend. An employee doesn't have this buffer. What they earn is all they have, and their brain immediately adjusts their expenses to that figure. 2 out of 4 rules, and the picture is already emerging. Depreciation eats away at what you've put aside. Growing demands make it impossible to save it all. But even if you miraculously overcome this, live frugally, and manage to save 20% of your income, there's a third rule that takes away your last chance. Rule 3. The exponent in reverse. There's a famous saying, authorship disputed, that the mechanism of compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Those who understand it earn it, those who don't pay it. The gist is, interest accrues not only on the initial sum, but also on the interest already accrued. This is exponential growth, and it sounds amazing when talking about investments. Invest $1,000 at 10% per annum. In 10 years, it will be $2,600. In 20 years, it will be $6,700. In 30 years, it will be $17,400. Out of 1,000. Magic. But there's a catch. For an employee, this magic often works in reverse because the same principle underlies loans, mortgages, installment plans, credit cards, car leases. Anything you pay interest on uses the same math, only now it works for the lender, not you. Example, you take out a $100,000 mortgage for 20 years at 6% per annum. 6% per annum seems manageable, but over 20 years, that's 120% on top, totaling $220,000 for a home worth $100,000. Unpleasant, but okay. However, the interest on the loan is calculated differently. In the first few years, the payment goes almost entirely to interest and the principal barely decreases. You pay $700 to $800 per month, $500 of which goes to the bank and $200 goes toward the debt. It feels like you're paying off the apartment, but in reality, for the first 5 to 7 years, you're essentially supporting the bank. So over 20 years at 6%, it's not $220,000, but about $172,000 in interest alone plus $100,000 in principal, a total of $272,000 for a home worth $100,000. And at rates of 18 to 20%, which is realistic for many countries, the figure is much more frightening. Add a car loan at 5 to 10% on a car that loses a fifth of its value in the first year. Add a credit card at 15 to 20% annual interest if you don't pay it off in full each month. Add installment plans, technically free, but their cost is already built into the price of the item. Add it all up, and the average person pays lenders more in interest over their lifetime than they earn net over several years. You work for a company, the company pays your salary, and you give a significant portion to the bank. Who gets rich in this chain? Not you. By contrast, an investor takes the same $100,000 of his own money and invests it in an index fund at an average annual return of 8%. After 20 years, he has $466,000 without a single day's extra work. It's the same exponential math, only in the opposite direction. You pay interest, he earns it. You paid $272,000 for a home worth $100. He turned $100,000 into $466. The most annoying thing is that the starting amounts were the same. The only difference is the rules by which each player plays. Rule 4. Salary limit. Any hourly income has a ceiling, and it's not a matter of ambition or hard work, but pure arithmetic. There are 24 hours in a day, 7 to 8 of which are spent on sleep, and another couple on commuting, food, and household chores. That leaves a maximum of 14. Even if you work 14 hours a day year-round, 7 days a week, there's no way to find extra hours. You can't scale up. When you work for a salary, you sell your time at a fixed hourly rate. You can raise your rate, learn a new skill, get promoted, change professions, but even the most expensive specialist has a ceiling, because the hours in the day don't get longer. Let's say you've increased your hourly rate to $50. That's already in the top few percent in the world. At 200 hours a month, that's $10,000 a month, $120,000 a year. Sounds great. Now let's compare this to someone who owns an asset, a business, real estate, an investment portfolio. Their income isn't tied to their body. They can be sick, relax on the beach, sleep, and the asset continues to generate income. Not because they're smarter or more talented, but because they play by different rules. Rules where income is not linear, but exponential. Linear income is when an hour of work yields 1 unit of money, 2 hours yields 2, 10 hours yields 10. It's a straight line, growing, but slowly, and it has a ceiling, that same limit on hours. Exponential income is when the result of your efforts generates the next result. Invest 1,000 and receive 100. Invest 1,100 and receive 110, and so on. Or, if you built a system that first serves 10 clients, then 100, then 1,000, your efforts didn't increase 100-fold, but your income grew just that way. And here's the catch. At the start, a linear income looks better. In the early years, a salaried person actually earns more than someone building an asset. A salary is stable every month, while an asset might bring in next to nothing in the first year. and people around them say, "See, a regular job is reliable, and your ideas are just a waste of time." But by age 35 to 40, their trajectories intersect and, after that point, diverge forever. Not an exaggeration, but the mathematics of exponential growth. After the intersection, the gap doubles every few years. A salaried person reaches a plateau and stays there until retirement. A person with an asset skyrockets. Both worked, both tried, both started from roughly the same place, but one was selling time, while the other was building a machine that runs without it. By age 50, one has $200,000 in his retirement account, while the other has assets worth several million. Not because of luck, but because linear growth will never outpace exponential growth, no matter how hard you work 20 hours a day. And the harshest thing is, they don't teach you this at school, university, or work. The entire education system is geared toward one goal: developing a good employee. Study, get a degree, get a job, and climb the career ladder. This is the only scenario you're shown, not because it's the best, but because it benefits those who built the system. Companies need employees, banks need borrowers, and the state needs taxpayers. A salaried employee is the perfect fit for all three: predictable, manageable, with an easily calculated and taxable income. Summary. 4 rules together. Rule number 1. Depreciation eats away at every earned unit of money, quietly, imperceptibly, every day you run. But the path beneath your feet moves backwards. Rule 2. Growing demands. No matter how much you earn, your brain and environment will adjust your expenses to your income. There will never be any extra money. The system is designed for you to spend everything. Rule 3. The exponential is the opposite. You don't earn money from it, you pay for it. Mortgages, loans, and installment plans work by the same magic of compound interest. Only the money flows from your pocket into someone else's. Rule number 4. There's a ceiling on hourly income. No matter how much your hourly wage is, there won't be any more hours in the day, and those who own assets have no time limits at all. None of these rules are secrets, lies, or conspiracy theories. They're basic arithmetic that can be verified with a calculator in 5 minutes. It's just that no one has explained them all together, and taken together, they lead to an obvious conclusion. A salary won't make you rich. Structurally, it can't. It's not about the amount. Even $100,000 a month, if it's a salary, the rules are the same. Depreciation eats up, expenses catch up, interest takes away, and there's no ceiling. And here's the important thing. A salary isn't evil, it's a tool. Like any tool, it's good for specific tasks. A salary is excellent for surviving today, paying rent, buying food, meeting basic needs. It's a foundation, but you can't build a house on a foundation alone. Most people spend their entire lives strengthening the foundation, the best cement, beautiful tiles, a perfectly flat surface, and end up homeless because no one told them that the foundation is just the beginning and that walls come next. And walls are an asset, something that brings in money without your direct involvement. Business, investments, intellectual property, systems that run while you sleep. I'm not advocating for you to quit your job and start a business. That's bad advice. You've heard it 100 times already. I'll say something else. Now you know all 4 rules and you have a choice you didn't have before. You can't choose without knowing what you're choosing between. You can continue to play by these rules. Work, spend, pay interest, hit the ceiling. That's how millions live. And they live normally. Not rich and not free, but normal. Or you can start building something that works by different rules, where depreciation works for you, not against you. Where compound interest works in your favor, where income doesn't depend on the number of hours in a day. It's more difficult, longer, and scarier, but the math is on the side of those who take this path.